welcome back, man. It's your boy G Bush, and I have not gotten to another episode of X's and O's with the regular Joes. I ain't really done this in a couple weeks, in a couple months actually, and it's a little refreshing to get to talk a little hoops. As you know, I do so much stuff with the Browns, do so much stuff, with the NFL and the pregame and stuff. So the NBA season crept up on us a little bit here, and to help me break it down, I got my man BP and Pepper Pike. As always, one of the top dudes, always checking out the Cavs, always interested in the NBA, gives me a call all the time over on 92.3 The Fan. How you doing today, BP?
G Bush, it's great to be on with you again, and I'm doing well, and I hope you are too.
All right. Let's get off into this really quickly. NBA season 2021-2022 came around. And, we're looking at some of these themes, looking at some of the big games and the big features that people might be looking to get a hold to. Tonight is the Nets and the Bucks. And also we got the Lakers and the Warriors. Let's start off with the Bucks and the Nets. And, that game, and to me, the major storyline is Kyrie Irving not being there with the Nets. Don't know when he's coming back. Pretty much prohibited him from not being able to play with the team because he's not vaccinated. What are the Nets' upside if Kyrie Irving is not with that squad?
On paper, the Brooklyn Nets have the best team in the NBA. All the experts say that, and I agree. When you have, the firepower of Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving, and, flesh that out with guys like Joe Harris, and now they brought in Patty Mills, some really good players. And then they got all the old timers, LaMarcus Aldridge and Blake Griffin.
Yeah.
So on paper,
LaMarcus Aldridge actually came out of retirement. He had the heart condition, and he got like another opinion. He came out of retirement, and now he's on that roster as well.
Yeah. And with, even without Kyrie Irving, they can make it to the NBA Finals. I think, remember last year, just with Kevin Durant and a very unhealthy James Harden, they took the Milwaukee Bucks to, 6 or 7 games. Mm-hmm. I can't remember if it was 6 or 7, but, that was a heck of a series, obviously. And I think eventually Kyrie Irving will join this team. I mean, we could do a whole show on Kyrie Irving, but we don't want to.
I mean, we know him all too well in Cleveland. Kyrie is a very polarizing individual. I think when you talk about the vaccine mandate, I openly tell people I'm vaccinated. I openly tell people that, I think that's the best decision people get. But here's the thing. If that's what he wants to do, that's on him, but, the league has made it very clear that, the mandate is what it is in the state of New York. And, at the end of the day, he's going to have to either comply or stick by his guns. And right now he's sticking by his guns. I do think he may come back at some point during the season, especially as the season gets going on. And to be truthful, I don't think too many people care about anything that happens before December in the 25th. When coming up to the games as well. Think about in terms of the Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis Antetokounmpo, one of the, pillars of the league, a guy who I think now is forcing his way into some of those legacy conversations, two-time defending. He's two-time MVP, defensive player of the year. And it looked like he was going to be injured for the Suns, came back against the Suns and were able to finish out the darling squad in the Suns in the finals with Chris Paul playing above his, playing way younger than his age. Your thoughts on Giannis and what it's going to be like trying to defend that title as he finally got over the hump in Milwaukee?
I mean, I have to be completely honest with you. When I was watching the Milwaukee Bucks during the playoffs, I was really pulling for them. I feel there's a ton of similarities between Milwaukee and Cleveland, and Giannis is such a genuine guy. You could feel it through the TV.
Yeah.
And, I just really like him. And the fact that he stayed in Milwaukee, he easily could have gone down to South Beach, easily.
I had him going down. I thought he was going to go to Miami and play with Jimmy Butler. I had it marked down, but, watching him more and more, he's a solid dude. Like, he's just a stand-up dude.
Yeah, and he's just an amazing guy. And, their general manager brought in Jrue Holiday. They swindled David Griffin out of Jrue Holiday, which I'm not a huge David Griffin fan, to be honest. And he's really looking really bad here. Jrue Holiday in the last few months has won an NBA championship and it helped the USA win a gold medal. And I don't even know what the New Orleans Pelicans got for Jrue Holiday besides Eric Bledsoe, who's already gone on to another team.
But let's keep it moving. and get into this other game we talked about. Let's get into the Los Angeles Lakers and the Warriors. I thought for the Warriors, I thought Steph Curry had a MVP type season last year, snuck into the fringe of the play-in games. I really thought Steph Curry had a great year. He didn't really have many people on the team. Klay Thompson's out. Draymond Green's in and out of the lineup. Andrew Wiggins really didn't bring you much in terms of added punch and getting them over the hump. But, I just think, with Klay Thompson coming back later and a lot later than people think, I think the Warriors are a middling team if they can keep guys and stay healthy.
Yeah. Did you mention James Wiseman?
Oh, I forgot about him. See,
yeah,
I forgot all about Wiseman. See,
yeah, that's why. Yeah,
I'm not a Wiseman fan. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of bigs who are like garbage bigs. Not garbage as in sense they can't play. I'm talking about garbage bucket bigs. Like you got to block shots and rebound and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't like if your archetype is Nerlens Noel. No, I don't want it. And I know Wiseman's game is a little better than Nerlens Noel now, but I just didn't think he fit at that position.
Yeah. A lot of people are high on the Warriors. Las Vegas has them in the top 5 or 6 to win the championship. I don't see it because I don't see them being healthy. Between Steph Curry always gets hurt, Klay Thompson always gets hurt, this James Wiseman's always hurt. I just don't, I don't think you can count on their health. And these guys are getting older now. Curry is over 30. He might even be 31 or 32.
I think Curry about 32.
Yeah. I mean, these guys are, Steph Curry still looks like he's 16, but he's 31, 32 years old.
Yeah.
So
about 32.
Yeah. And Klay Thompson hasn't played a game in about 2 years. I think it's crazy how he has missed so many games. Of course, he killed the Cavs. I was recently telling somebody that I was at the Cavs NBA Finals in 2017 when we still had a chance, even though the Warriors had Durant, but Klay Thompson had like 16 points in the first quarter in that game. I was there. And it was like, that guy just killed us. And that was at his height when, Klay Thompson was firing on all cylinders and Kevin Durant. That was the best team I've ever seen in the NBA. The 2017 Warriors.
Yeah, listen, by far.
Yeah.
There's a reason we don't talk about basketball much in Cleveland, because after we lost LeBron, it was just kind of like, we'll get to the 2021 preview for the Cleveland Cavaliers coming up here in a moment. But, that team, it's not even close, man. Like there's a lot of guys that talk about the nostalgia of the 80s and how the Bulls were the greatest thing ever to be assembled. And it's not even close, man. When you talk about the greatest team ever assembled, and you got Steph Curry, you got Klay Thompson, you got Kevin Durant, and you got a prime Draymond Green who's doing all the garbage work, and this is a Draymond Green at that time that can shoot. See, Draymond Green fell off a cliff, and he can't hit an open shot no more. But at that time, Draymond Green could shoot an open shot. But you got 3 guys shooting almost 90% from the free throw line. So if you cough on them and they go to the line, that's 2 points. You got guys shooting almost 50% behind the arc. And a guy that can get shots at any specific point they want. Draymond Green gets his garbage stuff. And Klay Thompson is an underrated defender. Second team all NBA defensive team. You got a defensive player of the year candidate and Draymond Green. And you got Kevin Durant, who really ascended and became a stopper as far as defense goes for that 2017 Warriors team.
Yeah, and you go back to that 2017, back when the Cavs were playing the Warriors every year in the finals, Klay Thompson was guarding Kyrie Irving. And that was a problem for Kyrie because obviously Klay Thompson's 6'7" and a pretty, very good defender. And they would switch off. And they would switch and say they would give Klay Thompson a little shot at LeBron. Then they would put KD on LeBron. Then they would put Draymond Green on LeBron. Then they would bring Andre Iguodala off the bench and play with him on LeBron. It was ridiculous back then. They was cheating. They knew what it was, and I'm glad they don't play no more. I'm glad they're out. I'm glad they're finished. I'm glad. Yeah.
I'm not shedding a tear. So tonight, let's get to the Lakers. Obviously they're going to play them tonight. Lakers didn't end the season the way they wanted. And I think for the first time, we actually saw LeBron James bleed a little bit. right? Like we saw LeBron James as a human being in that first round series against the Phoenix Suns. I think after that first game, we expected LeBron and the Lakers to just roll over him. And we expected him to turn it on. Game 2, game 3. We was like, okay, they're back in LA. And Devin Booker was just like, I'm the best player in this series. I'm the best player in the series. Nothing you could do about it. And it was just like LeBron could not turn it on. I think he talked about he hurting his ankle, and it's the worst he's ever been, and he may not ever get to that. And I think Anthony Davis really set them back a little bit too with his Achilles injury, and he just couldn't get right that series. Are they going to be better with the old squad this year? This is a all-star team or an all NBA team of about 5 to 10 years ago. Westbrook, Carmelo, Dwight Howard's back in the mix, LeBron, Anthony Davis. Are they able to they got Rondo back, I think, too. So
yeah.
Are they ready to go, or are they going to be able to turn back the hands of time?
Well, I did want to give you a couple of statistics, some kind of trivia stuff on this current Lakers roster. So the Lakers' current roster has 57 career All-Star game appearances between the 5 or 6 guys, the All-Stars on this team, which is the guys you mentioned, Rondo, Dwight Howard, LeBron, Carmelo, and Russell Westbrook, yeah, which is the most all-time. So you're talking about the most ever heading into a season, the most All-Star appearances by a roster, 57. That's a lot of All-Star appearances when you really think about it. LeBron's had about 17 All-Star appearances, and Dwight Howard's had a lot, and then you've got Carmelo's had a lot, and then and Rondo and Dwight Howard had about 5 or 6 each. Yeah, but you're talking about all-time greats here, all assembled on one team.
It reminds me a little bit of the Lakers back in the day. You had Gary Payton, you had Karl Malone, you had Shaq, you had Kobe. I think they even had, there was another old school cat. I mean, they had Glenn Rice a couple years before that. The Lakers are always accumulating.
They might have had Gary Payton.
They had Gary Payton. Yep.
Gary Payton. They had Karl Malone. They might have had Steve Nash at one time. They had him on the team.
Nash. It was Nash and Dwight Howard. Then they got rid of Dwight Howard. And then Dwight Howard came back. They won the championship. Then Dwight Howard went somewhere else, and now they got him again. Dwight Howard has, he has all-time records for his key card getting deactivated into the Staples Center. Because somebody turned Dwight Howard's key card off. He no longer with the program. I think the Lakers have a decent ceiling. I would pick them over right now. I picked them over the Nets right now because I just don't think Kyrie Irving coming in and out of the games and just saying, I'm going to play on away games, which the Nets put an end to that. So either he gets vaccinated and he comes back, starts practicing and gets real with the squad and does it the whole time, or he's not playing. With that being said, I got the Lakers. I'm just sorry. If Anthony Davis can stay healthy, if LeBron can stay healthy, I mean James Harden and Kevin Durant are very, very they're two of the best scorers ever.
Yeah, they're formidable for sure.
But can you imagine how bad Russell Westbrook wants to beat those two though, right? Can you imagine those two, the storylines in the finals? If you can get a full squad of the Nets and the Lakers and the storylines between KD and LeBron and Kyrie and the James Harden, Westbrook, Durant, that'd be great. I'd like to see.
That's what everybody's hoping for. But I also wanted to give you one other stat. The Lakers have 5 players on this current roster with 15 years or more of experience. That also is an NBA record. So you got 15 years spread out, 5 guys. That's a ton of experience that, again, the league has never seen.
And that means you're mad old.
But I mean, Rondo's not even that old of a guy. He's like, I don't know when he started, he's only like 31, 32. I don't know, but he's got 15 years under his belt. So,
man, it's crazy. Let's get to let's talk a little bit about we'll get to the awards a little bit. Rookie of the Year, MVP candidates. Rookie of the Year, I think Jalen Green is I would call him the favorite. I think he's, to be rookie of the year, you either have to be one or two things. You either have to be electric. You either have to have the ball all the time so you can shoot on your own and you can get it when you want to, or you have to be a rookie that starts on a team that outperforms what they're supposed to be and makes the playoffs and kind of gets to the playoffs and makes some noise in the summertime. Now, if you look at those criterias, you take a look at the top 3 or top 4, 5 guys that are in this, contention. You got Jalen Green, you got Jalen Suggs, you got Mobley with the Cavaliers. You kind of got the kid from in Detroit, Cunningham in Detroit. For me, out of all of the people, Jalen Green to me, even though Jalen Suggs is a lot better than I thought he was. He's a lot better than I thought he was. I've been seeing him play a little bit, and he got a better jumper. He has a little more athleticism than I thought, so I like his game. But to me, the guy that's going to be much watched when you get Porter Jr. and Jalen Green together, I'm still salty about that Porter Jr. joint, but I got Jalen Green being rookie of the year because he'll have the ball the most, he'll do the most electrifying stuff, and he just looks the part.
I completely agree with you there. That Jalen Green reminds you of a sort of like a Kobe Bryant type of player, but he looks like Michael Jackson, the singer.
And yes, listen, Michael Jackson was one of the most electrifying of all time. Michael Jackson had foreign men passing out. They just see Michael Jackson. Oh my God, Michael! just pass, smooth out. Come on, that's Michael Jackson. Come on, he had the Captain Crunch outfit on too. All kind of just everything. Michael was the man. Yeah. No, I think Jalen Green, it'll be interesting to see how Evan Mobley does after watching him in summer league and also during these Cavs preseason games. I feel he's got potential, but I don't think he's going to light it up. I think he'll be like maybe a double guy, 10 points, 10 rebounds, a couple of blocks. He's going to have them Tristan Thompson numbers. He's going to have Tristan Thompson, Evan, like you're going to get excited if he gets 17 points and 11 rebounds. You're going to be like, oh, he broke out today. Because right now, it just doesn't seem like when you're playing with a guy like Colin Sexton, you're not going to get the ball all that much anyway. And they're bringing Kevin Love off the bench, and every time Kevin Love get in the game, he's shooting. I'm like, man, Kevin Love really firing these threes up. He's like, yeah, I'm pulling. So you already got guys who are looking for their shot. It just doesn't seem like they're running no plays for him. I don't see him getting any sets run for him, and I don't see him being dominant and asking for the ball like that anyway.
And I also think he's, really thin. I mean, he's just getting pushed off the block, pushed off his spot. The NBA, that stands for no babies allowed. And he's, he's still a baby in my eyes. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're trying to play him at 3. Nah, man, come on. He's not a 3. He's not a 3. And I just think that's because there's a log jam at the 4 and 5 position where it's like, we just trying to find some minutes for marketing. We trying to find some minutes for Kevin Love. We trying to find some minutes for Mobley. So they're trying to make it be a 3. He's not a 3. Let's move right along to this MVP race. I actually think this is a tough one. It's always on. This is 3-4 people. You're gonna have. And there's really not anybody. You're going to have a Joel Embiid in the East. You're going to have a Luka Doncic. You're going to have LeBron. You're going to have my man out there, Damian Lillard. And I think Steph Curry will be in the mix as well. But other than that, nobody else really has a legitimate shot to do it. Kawhi Leonard's hurt. Paul George might put up some obscene numbers because he's going to shoot every time he hits the rock. And if they have a decent season, they're going to say he's carrying the team. So there you go. Here you go, Paul George. But to me, those are the guys who are on that short list of guys who can really get it. I don't know if the Sixers – I'm sorry, Giannis and KD. Giannis and KD. But here's the thing. KD and Harden will cancel each other out. KD and Harden will cancel each other out. Giannis, just because he plays defense, he's gonna that might be hard a little bit too. And I'm gonna say this too. It's not gonna be an MVP, but Chris Middleton might make first team All NBA. Chris Middleton might make first team All NBA. When he was in the playoffs last year, he was hitting shots like he was the dude. Like Chris Middleton was hitting shots like, oh yeah, forget Giannis. Like they're like, who do you get the ball to, Giannis or Chris? I'm like, are you questioning that? If you could question it, but he was hitting them. So I that's my dark horse. I got Chris Middleton. He's gonna be a first team All NBA. What do you got for MVP?
For MVP, I'm gonna go with Giannis, the Greek Freak. Just because, I mean, I just love that guy's game. I mean, he's poetry in motion. I mean, you talk about, I mean, what a 6'11", graceful. They said his jump shots improved this summer, so that could be a problem for the NBA. And the guy seems like he's determined to go out there and kick some more butt. So and you didn't mention the Joker, the guy who won it last year from Denver.
Yeah, we didn't we leave his name off here?
Yeah, but that's okay. I mean, he also, last year was part of that COVID year. So, he played all the games. So he kind of won it. It was almost like a war of attrition. Yeah. He just he played every game where a lot of guys missed games.
I mean, people forget that LeBron was the MVP before he got hurt. Before the ankle and stuff, LeBron was putting up crazy numbers. I think him and Joel Embiid were putting up crazy numbers as well. So that'll be, here's the thing. I'll be interested to see if Westbrook still continues with the triple doubles when you got two of the guys that are in the league that are putting up. That has to be the most. In the comment section when we put this out, let me know. Let me know if this is the most all-time triple doubles on the same squad. It has to be. Westbrook and LeBron, like these, it has to be the most triple doubles of all time for two teammates. So he'll probably take something away from LeBron. I want to actually see what their offense will look like. So moving along and kind of, touching down on that a little bit, when you're talking about we got to the MVPs and the rookie of the years. The big question is, we kind of touched on Kyrie, Ben Simmons. It looked like he blinked a little bit. He said he wasn't going to play. I'm not doing it. And then they put his money in escrow. And then when they put that money in escrow, it was kind of like, ooh, I'm losing how much money a day? And Ben Simmons likes the ladies. Ben Simmons loved the ladies. He got more Instagram models than yoga pant providers. He got he got all the Instagram models running around.
He also seems to like Ferraris too.
Yeah,
I've seen a couple of cool ones on his Instagram page.
They go hand in hand. Ferraris, Lamborghinis, all that goes with the Instagram models. You gotta at least have the starter kit with one of those before you can get the top level Instagram models. It's a thing. Ben Simmons, what are your thoughts? Do you think he's gonna play this year for the Sixers or another team?
I don't know if you heard it, but today, it's kind of breaking news. He was kicked out of Philadelphia 76ers practice today. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that came down. Yeah.
So he pulled the Jimmy Butler.
Yeah. In fact, yesterday they said he was, doing some light workouts with the team, and then he had his cell phone in his pocket the whole time. Like he wasn't even taking it seriously. Like he was, sort of tanking the practice.
Yeah. Listen, he's a smart dude. You know why? Because basketball dudes, besides baseball, you're gonna get all your money. All your money is there. You're gonna get all your money. The money is there, BP. You're gonna get your bread. The thing is, are you really going to be able to find him? No, he's gonna show up. The way the collective bargaining agreement is, he showed up. So now you got to question, you got Joel Embiid, you got guys out there, and you got one of the dudes that Doc Rivers is a no nonsense type dude. So are you going to have this guy in here kind of running around, like tanking your practices? Now he's kind of forced in their hand to do something. To me, I would have already moved him. he'd already had to get moved. I'm sorry. Bye. It's just not going to work at this point. I mean, how do you see this working out? Like, I don't understand it. Like, when you say publicly as an organization, he kind of going to have to work on his game. He kind of the reason y'all lost. It's like, wow, like, you know, NBA players are sensitive. And Kevin Durant got burner accounts, like 90 of them. And he's good. Like, so,
I mean, you know, the Sixers, I felt the best deal would have been if they traded Ben Simmons to Portland, to the Western Conference for CJ McCollum, even though, they want Damian Lillard, but they're not going to get Damian Lillard. There's no way. He's an MVP type, candidate. He's a top 5 or 6 player in the league. Ben Simmons is not worth that. Ben Simmons is, he's rated about the 25th best player in the NBA, but he's, no one's going to trade you Damian Lillard for Ben Simmons. No way.
And my thing is, think about it. With CJ McCollum, I mean, are they going to win with him in Portland?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think for Portland, it's actually a pretty good deal. They're not going anywhere with Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum with the small backcourt. If you add Ben Simmons to that, okay, he's a 6'10", guard or whatever he is, point forward maybe. Maybe Portland, it gives them a different look. It mixes things up. And then Ben Simmons goes out to the, Northwest where it's quieter out there.
Yeah.
I think it works. A trade has to work for both teams and the money matches up. CJ McCollum played, college ball at Lehigh, which is near Philly. So I think he would be happy.
He's a shooter. They need shooters out there. Tobias, that makes, I think that makes Philly, to be truthful, CJ McCollum makes the Sixers a much better team than what Ben Simmons would, right?
Exactly.
It would make it just makes better sense.
Right.
The thing is, and if you're Portland, sorry, you're in the Western Conference. I just feel bad for you guys. You guys, I mean, the Western Conference is just like every other year. You could be good one year, you could be the Mavs one year, and then the Mavs the next year are terrible. The Denver Nuggets 1 year, 1 year off. So let's get down to let's take a look at. I want to say let's get into the Cavs preview. We're here in Northeast Ohio. They got, I think, lucky on this one, right? We finally got a top 3 pick after getting the bottom, 5 or so. So we talked about Mobley a little bit. I think one of the biggest questions is, with the Cavs is Colin Sexton, Darius Garland, Isaac Okoro, and that mixed bag of whether or not that's even going to get us anywhere. Colin Sexton is a guy that's averaging 24, 25 points a game, but people are just like, listen, he's not a max player, really doesn't play much defense, shoots a lot. Darius Garland seems to be more people have a higher upside on him. However, he's a smallish point guard. Both of them are really small guards, but to be truthful. And Isaac Okoro is he might as well be a smallish guard too. I mean, he's 6'6", 6'5", whatever the case he is, and hasn't shown shooting prowess. So that's the conundrum that the Cavs are in right now. What are your thoughts on those 3 guys?
I mean, I don't know if you heard this news, but the Cavs had a deadline of last night to sign Colin Sexton as some type of a max deal or any kind of a contract extension, and they declined it. I don't know if you.
Well, I mean, I would have said. I mean, that seems plausible, right? I mean, I think they probably should, right?
No, I'm glad for a while, some of the people, were saying, hey, the Cavs should, he's a max player. He's averaging 24 a game. But to me, those are like empty stats. Somebody's got to, score 20 points on a bad team, and I think it's, to me, for Colin, I would not put a lot of money into Colin Sexton and his basketball. I think he would be good off the bench, sort of like Jordan Clarkson type player or a Lou Williams type of role. But you don't pay those guys, max money. You pay them $18 million a year, $17 million a year. And I don't think Colin Sexton wants to settle for that lower type of money, I think the Cavs have a problem here as far as, just Colin Sexton thinks his worth is higher than what it really is.
Well, we could let the market figure that out. I mean, I would let somebody sign him to an offer sheet. Like, you have unrestricted free agents, right?
Mm-hmm.
If some say, look, hey, go test free agency. And you have an opportunity to test your market value. Let them go sign an offer sheet to somebody. And if somebody doesn't give them an offer sheet, it's kind of like, ooh, well, did I lose some money? Because I could have took the mini little max that they was giving me a couple years ago. Now it's kind of like, I don't even know. Like now a team gives me this 3 or 4 year, deal for the marketing deal.
Yeah,
they give you the marketing, you're gonna be upset. So
right. But I think that's kind of in the ballpark what he's worth. Like marketing got 4 years, 68 million, which is 17 million a year, which, obviously it's great money, but it's not like De'Aaron Fox money, Like De'Aaron Fox is making 35 million a year. Is he worth it? No, he's not, because Sacramento hasn't made the playoffs in about 20 years.
I mean, it's De'Aaron Fox. I mean, it's like, I don't even know. Here's the thing. You got to be able to do more than one thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a max player, like we talking about, can you sure? And if you could, and if you just a scorer, right? You got to be one of the all-time scorers, right? Mm-hmm. So even Steph Curry, they say he's just a scorer. But when you break it down, you say, no, Steph Curry has pretty much some of the best handles ever. Steph Curry has unlimited range. He steps into the parking garage, parking his car in valet, and he's pulling up. He don't miss free throws. And he gets you about 8-9 assists a game. Mm-hmm. What are you going to do? Like he's giving you multiple things. If you only going to score, you got to be one of the greatest tactician scorers of all time and get it anywhere. You got to get it in so many ways that it's just not funny. Talking about a little bit about Kevin Love, do you think Kevin Love will be on this team after, let's say, will he be traded before the trade deadline?
I mean, that's a great question. It seems like I don't think he's tradable because of his huge contract. So unless there's another guy out there, that's also got a high contract that, the teams just kind of want to swap problems. But, it's all about Kevin Love wanting a buyout. If he agrees to some type of a buyout, because he's still owed $30 million a year times 2 years. So the Cavs, I would think, he'd want to be traded. Let him do some kind of a buyout. He's already made a ton of money, and then he could go out to Portland or Phoenix or some kind of a West Coast team and kind of join the fray out there on the West Coast.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's tradable. It didn't do him any favors with the USA basketball. They said he came in out of shape, and he was basically, that was a disaster. That whole USA basketball thing.
Yeah, he has to have a really good first half of the season. I think the best thing to do would bring him off the bench and try to get him to be a pick and pop type shooter, no heavy minutes, and you just put him in one of them cellophane wrap and hope you can get him past the All-Star break and have him with decent numbers, and maybe he can average 13 points and maybe 6-7 rebounds. That's nice, and you might be able to get a bargain, a bottom of the barrel bargain in terms of getting something for him. And at this point, you just want somebody to take the salary, which is kind of difficult at this point.
I was going to give you a couple of surprise teams, sort of like Miami Heat, I think will surprise some people. I kind of like what they did in the offseason. They brought in Kyle Lowry. Mm-hmm. They brought in PJ Tucker. A lot of people didn't even know about some of these transactions.
I didn't even know PJ Tucker was off the Bucks.
Yeah, he whatever, he wanted more money than they were able to offer him. So he went down to Miami, and then Miami re-signed. They spent a ton of money on Duncan Robinson. They still got Tyler Hero. They've got Victor Oladipo sort of coming back from injury. So they've got a lot of guys. And they still have Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo. When you add that all up, they could be a dark horse in the East. Yeah, and they're gonna, what kind of game they're gonna play. Spoelstra and Riley will have them playing hard, tough nose. That's a nice squad. That's a nice squad. The Chicago Bulls, I really like what they've done. Mm-hmm. They brought in Lonzo Ball, but they brought in DeMar DeRozan. Zach LaVine is one of my favorite players in the NBA. I love his game. Yeah. I think they're going to surprise some people. They traded for Vucevic out of Orlando. They've still got Kobe White off the bench. I mean, I think the Bulls are going to be a problem in the East. I really do. I think they're completely underrated. What do you think of the Bulls?
Well, I was going to say as part of one of the people I wouldn't say that it's a dark horse because, I mean, he's been putting up 25 plus for a minute now. I liked him when he was in Minnesota, but, you know, Zach LaVine is one of the guys when you mention top guards and top combos guys and wing dudes, you really don't really mention his name. But I had an opportunity. I was watching the Cavs play the other day, and I mean, his jump shot looks crazy. I mean, it ain't hitting nothing but the bottom on those. We already know what his athleticism is about. So I think Zach LaVine could be a guy that can get upwards of 27, 28, 29 points. What's your outlook before we go? Outlook on the Cavs? Do you think that they're a team that can push for maybe a playing game or something like that? Or do you think it's going to be another lottery season for the Cavs?
I hate to say it, but I think it's going to be another tough season in Cleveland. The East has gotten a lot tougher. You know, you look at teams like Atlanta's really tough now. They got a lot of depth.
New York,
Charlotte Hornets are tough.
Indiana.
We haven't even talked about Indiana Pacers. They got all stars on that team. Malcolm Brogdon torched the Cavs last week in an exhibition game. Torched us.
Everybody, everywhere you turn, they got guys that you can say, "Oh, he might be a superstar." I just don't see superstar for Cat. I see a bunch of players, some potential here or there, but guys who can just turn it over and just get you a bucket and you can't do nothing about it. I don't see it.
I was going to ask you one last question. Do you think, while Dan Gilbert is still the owner, that the Cavs will even make the playoffs in the next 5 years? Do you think that, and I'm being honest, I'm not even trying to be joking here, but do you think the Cavs can make the playoffs in the next 5 years?
Not if somebody don't take it. Somebody has to take a step. Somebody has to, because they're not going to get free agents. So the guys that they drafted, Garland has to take a next step, or Okoro has to take a next step. Because I think we already know what Colin Sexton is. Unless Colin Sexton this year comes back with something new to his game, we know what he is, right? Or Mobley turns into a monster. Then, okay, we can do it. The Cavs, for them, it's about developing now. And I don't even know if they got the right people to develop these people. I don't even know if they got that. So they're going to have people who are like, he's going to have to, at some point in time in the NBA, if you don't got an all NBA guy, you're not going to win. It's just, or they turn into it like Jamal Murray or Jokic or how
like you said, you almost need two all-stars to make the playoffs.
You need two to
at
make
least.
You need two all-stars to make the playoffs. You need two superstars to be contenders, and you need three. You need two superstars and a borderline superstar to win a championship. You ain't got that, you're not getting it. Sorry. It's just not going to happen for you, dude.
Well, we'll see what happens. It should be a fun season no matter what. Even though the Cavs aren't a great team, I still, there's some compelling stories on the Cavs to follow.
Yeah, man. We'll keep in touch, and we'll check back in at some point in the season, and